podcast made by basketball fans for basketball fans. From the hottest takes, news, analysis, and passion for the sport that we all love, this is the Fast Break Pod with Finn James and Will Tremaine.
Welcome into the Fast Break Podcast, the podcast made by basketball fans.
For basketball fans.
Finn James.
Will Tremaine.
Back again with another episode, Season 2, Episode 24. Not as much to talk about on this episode as we alluded to last episode with no breakers. Cel's NBL doesn't start until, I think, April 9th is the first game of the season. But there's still plenty to dive into with the NBL playoffs, which has been very entertaining to say the least. There's a little bit of news out of the breakers and probably one of the biggest weeks of NBA we've seen in a while, to be honest.
Crazy news coming out of the NBA.
Ridiculous news, to say the least.
Yeah.
But if you want to skip anywhere, make sure to head to the time codes down below if you want to skip to anywhere throughout the podcast. Otherwise, we'll just get right into some NBL news, the latest from NBL.com.au. Angus Glover, despite the season still on and the Phoenix still being in contention for the NBL Finals, it's looking very likely that the Sixth Man of the Year, Angus Glover, will be signing a 2-year deal to return to the club. I think this is a absolute great pickup to retain Angus Glover for South East Melbourne.
Well, not much of a surprise, really, when you look at what South East Melbourne are doing currently in the playoffs. We're in the semi-finals, which we'll get into in a second, but he knows that this is a winning franchise. They've got a winning culture behind them at the moment. He's veteran in this league, brings that leadership. Just won Sixth Man of the Year, like you mentioned. So I think he sees this as an opportunity. Re-signed for 2 years. They should be contenders for the next 2 years. And he's figured out his role on this team as well. So not much of a surprise, if you ask me, for him re-signing that 2-year deal.
First piece of the puzzle, you could probably say, for South East Melbourne, to be honest, Will. I mean, when you have an award-winning type of guy in your team, you'd be silly not to try throw at least a bit of coin at him.
Exactly.
It'll be interesting to see, first of all, what South East Melbourne do in Game 3 of the NBL semi-finals, just alluding to what's been unfolding in the last week or so. But will be interesting to see what the off-season entails. I'm unsure how many players are on contract. Obviously, they're just looking to sign Glover to another 2 years.
Yeah.
Unsure what Sobey's contract is like and whether they want to give him another crack. I mean, he's an older guy. He just had
to keep Sobey.
Just had one of the best seasons of his NBL career.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see in terms of imports who they try to retain. I think depending on how good they do in this next little bit, whether they make the NBL finals or not, I mean, do you just kind of run it back?
You got to go after John Brown III. The best defender in the league by country mile. You mentioned Sobey, he's the cornerstone of this franchise. You got to have Sobey on the team. But yeah, someone like Glover, the Sixth Man of the Year, veteran presence. I think he's almost, you could argue, the third most important piece behind those two to this team going forward. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think Sobey, they should be able to find a way to figure out keeping him around. John Brown will be interesting. He's an import. You don't really see imports stay on a team for an extended period, but if they can find a way to get him to come back, that would be huge for them. And yeah, I mean, look at the South East Melbourne team there, heading into a Game 3 decider in the semi-finals against Adelaide, like we predicted, and who knows, could go on and win it all this year. And I think if they do that, then they're definitely going to want to run it back with the same team, and I think that will definitely be more enticing to guys like John Brown III to come back and run it back. You win a chip, you're going to want to go for the repeat. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think, I don't know what Josh King's contract status is like as well. If they don't retain that man, they're in deep shit as well. But I would assume that he's probably on contract still, or they would probably look to extend. I haven't actually looked too deeply into the contract statuses of many of these teams. But, I mean, South East Melbourne have proven to so many people that they are a team that can compete for a title. And going into the season, I mean, myself included, and many other NBL experts, not calling myself an expert at all, by the way, basically said that they were going to be outside the six. And for them to finish, third in the NBL this year, have a Sixth Man of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, a 34-year-old resurgence going for the MVP title. I mean...
Well, we both had them, I forgot what order, but one of us had them last in the league, and the other one of us had second to last.
Oh, we had some terrible predictions.
I think we had South East Melbourne and Tassie switched. Forget which one of us had them last, but whoever did, they're an idiot. Hope it wasn't me.
I'm never going back and looking at my predictions.
Yeah.
I mean, you had them way off.
I had them so bad.
You had the Breakers second.
Yeah.
Like
Breakers bias. What can I say?
See, I was realistic. I had them finishing
It's
six.
didn't it?
Yeah.
Good
And they
prediction.
were what, 1 win off?
Yeah.
Actually, I think they might have been tied almost.
And they were a good enough team to be the 6th seed.
Yeah.
Just unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, a lot of things really went wrong. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's some news out of the NBL. But the big one actually, and super unexpected, on our own shores, Breakers have some news that came out on Friday afternoon. Assistant coach Judd Flavell, probably the front runner to take over Petteri Kopanen's role as the head coach of the team. You and I probably definitely thought that would have been the case. Won't be returning to the club for NBL 27 and will be pursuing a overseas head coaching opportunity, which aligns with his Tall Blacks duty. So he will still be the Tall Blacks coach, but will be taking up an overseas head coaching opportunity. I think I saw somewhere, NBL Pleb, shout out NBL Pleb, honestly has the best news as well as, all the other insiders. I think I saw Japan as a potential landing spot for him. So just quietly, he's probably chasing a bit of cash money for old Judd Flavell there. Oh,
Go
yeah,
get that
absolutely.
bag, Mr. Judd. I think, we put that poll up, was it last week, a couple of weeks ago, between him and Mode Mayor, who would want to see as the next Breakers head coach. Hope you didn't vote for Judd Flavell, but yeah, I mean, he's been an assistant with the Breakers behind Petteri Kopanen, obviously. I think most people thought he was probably going to step up, but signing elsewhere, that kind of says, I guess the Breakers might be looking elsewhere, because I think if he was to get the job, they probably would have approached him already and said, yeah, we want you to take over. Would have been perfect gig to have with the Tall Blacks coach on the side. But yeah, Japan, I think he'll do well over there. So obviously he'll get paid more money.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see now who our head coach is.
Yeah, I reckon the Breakers still offered him the job.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon they still would have offered him the job, but I feel like Judd might have hinted that he probably wasn't returning early, because when Kopp announced that he wasn't coming back, in the report from the Breakers, it said they were going to look internationally or for a head coach. But I still reckon maybe at that point they already knew Judd wasn't coming in. I think they might have already approached Judd before
Earlier in
Kopp.
the season.
Yeah, potentially. And in the report, like I said, it didn't say where he was going or anything, but there was a few quotes from him, and one said it was an opportunity he had sat on for a while, and a decision he'd sat on for a while, and he said for the best interest of himself and his career and things like that, it was an opportunity he couldn't turn down. And I think that definitely comes down to potentially a financial situation for him and his family. I mean, you can make some serious coin being a head coach in some of the biggest leagues in the world. Not saying the Breakers wouldn't pay well. I'm sure they would. A former professional basketball player like Petteri Kopanen, who would have made millions of dollars in his time, probably still got offered a pretty decent chunk from the Breakers. But I think Judd going to Japan, probably a little bit more cash money. I mean, that was the whole reason. Well, one of the big reasons why Modi terminated his contract early with the club. I also think there's probably other reasons as well, but that was one of them. But now that Judd is gone, this leaves it wide open for the Breakers. One, we need a new head coach. We actually need another assistant as well. And we only have 3 contracted players this offseason. So
Lots of moves to be made.
Dylan Boucher and the new CEO, they have a lot of work to do this offseason, like you said. And I have seen reports, Olgun Ulick, he said the Breakers have approached Modi already, I'm pretty sure. I think they're open to a reunion.
Yeah.
I think they have spoken to Modi. I might be getting this a little bit muddled up, but from my understanding, Modi's off contract from Japan at the end of the season. But realistically, he coaches the Nagasaki Valkyr. They're the number 1 team in the Japanese B League. They have the best record in the B League. They have the likes of Jarrell Brantley, Akil Mitchell, and Stanley Johnson as their imports. A very stacked team. They were a new franchise that launched not long ago, and Modi was their new guy coming in, lead this new team.
Yeah.
And I mean, they would have to throw a lot of money at Modi, I think.
I mean, like you said, they're the number 1 team in the B League. That's because of Modi Mayor. Well, the players as well.
Be a big reason, though.
Modi Mayor is one of the best coaches in the world outside of the NBA, I think. And yeah, you're going to have to throw the bag at him to get him to come back to the Breakers. It's going to have to be a massive contract for a coach. And I think even then, if it's money that's the main factor for him, he won't come back. He'll just be offered more from another team in Japan or wherever else, he's going to be a highly sought after man for sure, all around the world. But if he, for some reason, does want to come back, that would be amazing for the Breakers. Like you said, they've mentioned they want to get an international coach. So outside of Modi Mayor, you really can't predict like who that person is. There's thousands of potential candidates out there who are international coaches around the world. So there's really not much point looking deep into who could be that new signing outside of Modi Mayor. But whoever it is, hopefully they can lead this team back to our glory days.
I agree. And he's a proven winner.
Yeah.
2023 NBL season, well, the NBL 23 season with the import trio of Barry Brown Jr., Derek Pardon, Jarrell Brantley, Will McDowell-White was there, Abercrombie. I mean, they were literally a quarter away from lifting an NBL championship. So they were that close. And then it all just sort of came crashing down, unfortunately, that offseason. So, but yeah. And look, excuse my ignorance, but I didn't know who Petteri Koponen was before he signed with the Breakers as a head coach, despite being one of the greatest Finnish basketball players of all time.
Yeah.
I didn't really know who he was. So the Breakers obviously are out there on a search, and Dylan Boucher knows probably a lot more than me. So I trust him.
You'd think.
I trust him with the club. I really do. And I think whatever decision they make, I think for the club, they'll make the right decision.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that's all for the news that's been happening in the NBL so far. Let's get into the semi-finals, Finn.
Ooh.
One's already been finalized, all done and dusted. The other, we've got a game 3 on Tuesday between Southeast Melbourne and Adelaide, the decider, like we predicted, going to a game 3. But we'll get into these game 1s to start off with. Adelaide versus Southeast Melbourne. This one was in Adelaide. Adelaide getting the job done, 104-97 over Southeast Melbourne. Finn, take a 1-game lead in this series.
Such a good game, and I honestly thought watching this game, I thought maybe Southeast Melbourne could have caused an upset, but just as you predicted, Will, you went on your big spiel last episode about exactly how this series was going to play out, and you're almost bang on.
Almost.
Bryce Cotton with a 42-point carry job for the Adelaide 36ers, 17 of 25 from the field. He was unconscious, couldn't be stopped. Yeah. And that ultimately was the whole reason they got the win over Southeast Melbourne in the first game.
Yeah, 42 is insane. He got a little bit of help from DJ with 17 off the bench, Rakocevic 14 and 10. Those were the only notable. Zylan Cheatham as well. He does all the small dirty things, which we've come to know about Zylan Cheatham. But yeah, pretty much it was Bryce Cotton getting the job done at home. And Sobey tried his best. He countered with 23, 10 and 7, so a near triple-double. 9 for 27 shooting, though, so couldn't quite find his shot. High-scoring game, though, 104-97. A lot of these, I mean, apart from one game and out of these first 4 semifinals games, they've all been high-scoring games. So what you'd expect from the best teams in the league.
Yeah, the elite of the elite. And, like, this game 1 didn't disappoint. Yeah, like, watching Bryce Cotton just do it on the main stage, like, this is the NBL semifinals. This is what people are playing for. Bryce Cotton has done this a million times. Yeah. Well, not a million. That's a bit of a stretch. But, you know, he's Bryce Cotton. He's the greatest player to ever play in the modern generation of the NBL, arguably of all time. And even at his age and how old he is, how long he's been in the league, people still don't know how to guard this guy. 42 points, he gets better every single year, and this was just an absolute display of just shooting and scoring masterclass from Bryce Cotton.
I was watching back some highlights on YouTube the other day of Bryce Cotton playing for the Jazz.
Yeah.
I saw Rudy Gobert was on the court there with him. Yep. I'm not sure if it was regular season or like summer league or something, but he was in a Jazz uniform, and he was doing all the things that we've come to see in the NBL. He was doing them in this game that I was watching, these highlights, just step back, hitting like tough threes. He looked unconscious, and it made me think how he didn't end up with an NBA career. Yeah, like he's just, I guess coaches just were too scared of his height when it comes, what it comes down to in the NBA. Like short guards, that they're not that confident in them, but you could see it then that he was going to be a bucket wherever he ended up.
I've seen those exact same highlights on the Jazz back in, I don't know what year, it must have been like 2013, 14, maybe even a little bit after that before he came to the NBL. He got a really tough inbound alley-oop, I'm pretty sure, on one of those highlights as well.
Bro, he's
like
bouncy.
He's sneaky athletic. So and he was, I think it was a 20-point game from him. Yeah. I think it was a regular season game. I'm pretty sure he was on the Utah Jazz. And then ultimately got out the league and came over here. But funny how you talk about how coaches might have been scared of his height. he's a known athlete.
Yeah.
He's been dunking in the NBL for as long as I can remember. I think
He's not as short as PJC. He's like 5'10".
He's short. Yeah.
He's short, yeah.
But he's so fast.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, he's had about 9 years in Australia. From what he's produced with his I think he's 6 MVPs now, 5 or 6 scoring titles, 4 or 5 championships, whatever it is. There's absolutely no chance an NBA coach shouldn't come knocking.
Yeah,
but
true.
I reckon even if they did, Bryce probably understood that he wasn't going to get a role in the NBA like he would in the NBL.
Yeah.
So he probably was like, well, no, I want to be that guy. I want to make a legacy for myself overseas, because he could have gone to the NBA, maybe struggled to even make rosters. Cool, he probably would have made more money, but he's going to retire knowing that he made an impact on a completely different scale. Like, he's going to go down as one of the greatest to ever play in the NBL.
He is the GOAT, man.
Exactly. So this is what I mean. Like, he could have gone to the NBA and just been another statistic. No one would remember Bryce Cotton, but he's come over and built a legacy for himself, which I think is maybe something that is underrated about him. And look, he's still making $1 million a year, maybe plus.
Yeah,
so I think he's still financially pretty stable.
Yeah, he would have had a bigger contract, like you said, in the NBA, but like once it's all said and done, realistically, he's probably going to make more money in Australia, just from like the fact that he's become such an iconic figure in the NBL, in Australia and New Zealand, as a basketball figure, that like those side deals and marketing, all that sort of stuff, like that comes with it, from the NBL, is probably making up for the money that he's lost from an NBA contract, because like you said, he'd just be another guy over in the NBA. Like,
and he
would never have a name for himself.
And he wouldn't be guaranteed contracts in the NBA either.
Yeah.
He's always going to have a place in Australia.
For sure.
Yeah. Shout out Bryce Cotton. Just absolutely went crazy in game 1.
Yeah.
And I'm not even surprised, which is the craziest part. Like, you literally predicted it.
For sure.
In the first game of the other series, Sydney versus Perth. Game 1 was cinema. Honestly, this was such a good game. But Sydney at home were too strong, 105, 104. Perth had the ball in hand with 10 seconds left. John really had a timeout, decided not to use it, and that's not the first time he's done it this season. Perth fans weren't happy about it. I think John really probably should have taken a timeout there, called the play, sat them down, and I reckon it might have gone the other way. It could have been an upset in game 1.
Who knows? You can't predict those sort of things. Hindsight's a beautiful thing, but
Hindsight
he's the coach at the end of the day. He's done a good job with this team, I think. You got to trust in the coach's decision there. And that's what he thought was best for the team. They came up short, but yeah, like you said, extremely exciting game, 105, 104. Kendrick Davis, though, just like we were talking about with Bryce Cotton, this guy is like arguably the only other person in the league that can just take over a game, decide the outcome of a game. 35 points, 6 assists, 10 for 15 shooting, so efficient, 5 threes. Yeah, he's very, very close, as he has been all season, as the MVP race showed. Him and Bryce Cotton are 1A, 1B in this league, and it's not even close.
I agree. Yeah, Kendrick Davis is an absolute weapon, and I think he only signed a 1-year deal with Sydney.
He's coming back.
Sign that man.
Yeah.
He could do what Bryce Cotton's doing. He could build himself a legacy in this league. He has the tools for it.
Everything we just mentioned, that's the same thing that goes for Kendrick Davis right now. He's probably got NBA coaches and teams reaching out to him at this very moment. And this is where he's like going to decide whether he should do the Bryce Cotton, like you just said.
What would you do?
Like we just mentioned, if I'm Kendrick Davis, I'm looking at the career that Bryce Cotton's made for himself in this league, and I'm saying that could be me in like 10 years from now. And I'm sticking in the NBL and making a name for myself. So.
I think he's the first guy we've seen in recent times that has the tools and the ability and the very, very similar style of play as Bryce Cotton that could do maybe not exactly what he's done, because Bryce Cotton's been on a historic run, but could do something very similar. And I think if I was Kendrick Davis, I'd try to do that thing, like build a legacy for myself. And look, in the off season, he can go play overseas still.
Yeah,
that's an underrated part of this of playing in the NBL.
Yeah,
in the NBA, you have 82 games, playoffs. That's it. You got the off season. You're grinding. You go back in. At least when in the NBL, you can play here, and then like plenty of players have already done. There's so many guys in China already.
Yeah,
including Sam Ananga, Isaiah Brockington. I think Parker's overseas somewhere as well. I think he's in China, actually. So many guys are in China.
Yeah.
And making more money. So
Go and get 2 contracts in the span of one NBA contract. So
correct.
And yeah, Kendrick Davis is going to be the highest paid player in the NBL for the next 10 years if he sticks around.
Yeah.
Like the contracts he's going to be signing are going to be like record breaking each and every year that he signs one, because there's no player I'd rather have in this league than Kendrick Davis right now.
Mm-hmm.
Even,
Especially when Bryce is gone.
Cotton. Yeah.
When Bryce is gone.
Because Bryce Cotton's getting old, so like, yeah.
Yeah. Who knows what Bryce's longevity is like. At the moment, it doesn't look like he has any chance of slowing down anytime soon, but there's always a time where you got to decide to hang up the boots. But
for sure.
Yeah, Kendrick Davis was excellent. Torrey Craig, 20 points off the bench, 9 rebounds. Arguably one of the best mid-season signings we've seen.
Well, yeah, you're telling me off pod, Finn. You reckon it's the best all time?
No. Bryce Cotton's obviously the best. So there's no argument, but he's definitely up there. I mean, he's just been a perfect replacement. Bull Cool goes out. They had an import spot. And Malik Malawach has also been just outstanding and stepping up.
Yeah.
And we'll allude to that's alluding to that for game 2, because he produced some crazy numbers in game 2. But Torrey Craig has been such a good asset. And from my understanding and what I've seen online as well, because of what he's been doing since he's re-signed for the Sydney Kings, NBA teams have been reaching out to him to bring him back into the NBA for probably next season, or maybe even the back end of this season. Who knows? But
no surprises there.
He I mean, he went out the league unsure how. Maybe he didn't have a contract on the table. But he's a proven beast in the NBL, and he's still doing it on a different scale though. Like when he was playing for Brisbane, however many years ago it was, which was his best season in the NBL, he wasn't just a shooter. He was a defender, but he was also just very good downhill, very dominant. But he's come in and he's just said, KD, this is your team. And he's just been that really reliable 3-and-D guy. And I think, 3-and-D is the most important aspect of a team in the NBA. So I see why NBA teams are probably looking at him like, we can bring this guy in.
For sure. Perfect signing. And this game was just a battle of the imports on both sides, really. For Perth, Christian Doolittle, 31 points.
Oh, he's so good.
13 for 22 shooting, so efficient. JLA, 19 and 12.
Yeah, great
and then
game for JLA.
David Duke with arguably his best game in the Wildcats jersey. 20 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists off the bench. So you hadn't really seen it with David Duke at any point this season yet. He had obviously been dealing with injuries, but they bring him off the bench in this one. I think he still played over 30 minutes in the game. But that's exactly what you want from your point guard. It's a shame it came a little too late.
Yeah, he looked more polished.
Yeah.
When he came back, and look, I still think they should have gone and got a point guard when he got injured.
Yeah.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, Will.
Exactly.
Let's get into game 2. So obviously that was 1-0 to Adelaide and 1-0 to Perth. Game 2, look, Will literally could see the future. He had a crystal ball last episode.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. Game 3 hasn't happened yet.
Will predicted this. Southeast Melbourne wasn't going to drop game 2 after a 40-piece from Bryce Cotton, and well, Will couldn't have predicted it any better. That's exactly what happened. Southeast Melbourne did get the win at John Cain Arena, 101-92. And my God, if that 42 points from Bryce Cotton wasn't good enough, we got another 40-piece in this series. Nathan Sobey with 41.
Yeah.
Just took Southeast Melbourne, put him on his back, took him to the promised land. No, not the promised land, but took him to a game 3, forced a game 3. Nathan Sobey, what a player.
Yeah, I mean, the common theme with these top 3 teams in this league is they all have like that guy, their point guard, to take over games and erupt on any given night. It almost feels like with the 3 teams remaining now that Perth's out of the playoffs, it's almost like it shouldn't be Adelaide, Southeast Melbourne, and Sydney. They should just call them Bryce Cotton, Kendrick Davis, Nathan Sobey. Sorry to everyone else who plays on those teams, but that's arguably what it comes down to. Which one of those 3 is going to have a massive night and lead their team to the win? And tonight it was Nathan Sobey, who's the clear 3rd best player in this league, I think. I know I just said before that it's 1A, 1B, Bryce Cotton, Kendrick Davis. You could argue Nathan Sobey is a very close 1C.
Nah, I don't think so. I think those other 2 are leaving their own.
That might be a push.
Sobey is a proven player.
This season, though?
Oh,
bro.
And he's like 34.
Yeah. Best season of his career.
100. Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, you'd have to look back, but damn, it's been a bloody good year for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, 41 points and 14 of 27 from the field. Got up 16 threes as well. 8 of 16 from 3. Was really clutch down the stretch. Like, Nathan Sobey just... Yeah. One of those games.
Southeast Melbourne were down in this one in the first half, and Sobey just went on a stretch. He hit like 3 back-to-back threes, like step back fadeaway, one of them, and he like really got the crowd pumping. You could see him; he was doing the hands up in the air after his last 3, and just like switched the momentum of this game and got them into the lead, and then they didn't look back. Obviously led them to the win. And that game 3, man, that's going to be so interesting.
Oh,
I know I
God.
predicted Southeast Melbourne to get the job done. It's in Adelaide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything I predicted in this series is playing out so far, so part of me wants to stick with that prediction, but man, just I don't know. Bryce Cotton goes off, Sobey goes off. It feels like it's almost Bryce Cotton's turn again back home in Adelaide.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
I don't know. It's gonna be one hell of a game 3, that's for sure.
Oh, 100%. And look, Bryce Cotton, he's been there before.
Yeah.
It is pretty scary playing in Adelaide, and they have the greatest, arguably, of all time on their team. So who knows what Bryce Cotton's going to pull out of his back pocket on Tuesday night? Potentially a 50-piece in the NBL semifinals.
Oh my god.
Would that be one of the greatest performances of all time?
Yeah, I think so.
And
For sure.
Win or go home game?
Apart from maybe that 59 points against the Breakers.
A nothing game. What a terrible season for the Breakers. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Why would you even bring that up?
Sorry,
Just
guys.
pissed me off again.
Anyway, we'll get back on track.
Jeez, bro.
A few other standouts in this game. Angus Glover and Ian Clark, 10 each off the bench, 19 minutes
exactly
each.
what you need.
Exactly what you need, like we mentioned before. John Brown with 12, so showing that he's not all defense. And Bryce Cotton for Adelaide still had 29 points, 50% shooting. So, I mean, yeah, he still played well. Rakocevic as well. Rakocevic has been really impressive for me for Adelaide in this back stretch of games, end of the regular season, now in the playoffs. 18 points and 10 boards. So and off the bench as well. He's like him and DJ off the bench. That's one of the best 2-man combos off the bench in the league for sure.
100%. Yeah, Rakocevic has been great. Apart from him just getting into fights all the bloody time. He looks like he wants to injure people. It's pissing me off.
Yeah.
Like, great player, but he's a crazy European dude. Like, the whole Brisbane Bullets debacle, that happened. But then there was a situation in game 1 where, oh God, I can't remember who went to the rack. I really can't. It was a player, I think it was Akila Chilera or whatever. I forgot how to say his name, but the tall, I don't know, South Sudanese guy on Southeast Melbourne coming off the bench. He fouled him pretty aggressively on obviously he was fouling him so he had to go earn at the line, but
a bit OD, right?
Way too OD. And he was trying to pick him up. Like, no. No.
Stop it.
Like, Rakocevic, just go yard, bro. Honestly. It's pissing me off. And I don't know. Great player nonetheless, but man, just shut up. Like, please. Oh my God, great player.
Watch out, bro. He might open a plane over here and sort you out as well.
Well, if he's doing it to players in the NBL, in nationally televised NBL game, imagine when it's behind the door.
Yeah,
jeez, and
true.
That's a speculation. I don't want to get in trouble here. That is a joke. But in terms of how I see Game 3 playing out, you predicted Southeast Melbourne were just going to cause an upset in the Adelaide whatever centre it's called.
Nervous about that one.
I'm thinking Bryce Cotton just goes ballistic. I think it's going to be a close game, nonetheless. I mean, the teams haven't been separated by that much. I think it's been less than 10 points in both games. That's going to happen again. Could go either way, but I'm more leaning towards Adelaide just getting the job done. I mean, geez. We've seen it time and time again with Bryce Cotton.
It's hard to doubt Bryce Cotton. I think if anyone's going to step up in Adelaide and close this game out, it's going to be Bryce Cotton. But for the sake of the fact that I've predicted how it's gone so far, I've got to stick with my original prediction that Southeast Melbourne are going to win. But yeah, something's telling me do not doubt Bryce Cotton.
To have one little thought. Imagine this. This is for the storylines. John Jenkins. He's come into the Adelaide 36ers. Started off pretty hot. Has been really bad since.
Yeah.
I think it's because he's quite limited in how he scores the ball and his defensive. He's a bit of a liability, and Mike Wells has just been struggling to insert him, even though he started off really hot. Yep. Imagine Game 3 just comes out and just goes crazy. Just shoots a bunch of threes and they all go in.
Could see it.
Imagine that. In an alternate universe, John Jenkins
could see it, but let's be honest.
It's not going to happen.
If someone's going to do it for Adelaide, it's Bryce Cotton.
Oh, well, no shit. But I'm just saying, imagine this. Bryce Cotton just has a stinker, but John Jenkins goes for 25. Flynn Cameron goes for 25.
Sounds like a Crazy universe, Finn.
Yeah, this is like a 1 in a million. Yeah, but it's going to be a really entertaining game nonetheless. Who doesn't love series deciders, man?
Yeah.
It's a
They
real
just need to make
shame.
them longer.
There's a real shame. The other series in the NBL semifinals didn't go to a game 3 because that is Sydney did get the 89-75 win over Perth in Perth. A game I predicted that Perth would get the job done with the home court advantage, but Dylan Windler going down with that injury at literally the very end of the game against Sydney, which is so unfortunate in game 1. That was a big loss. He had like 17 points in the first game. Proven rebounder, proven good shooter. Like, he's a big piece of what's Perth had success this year. And without him, I knew it was going to be a bit of a struggle for Perth. And I mean, it was basically kind of out the equation with what unfolded in sort of the second half, you'd probably say, in the game on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, Perth kept this one close. They were up at halftime, only down by 1 point at the end of the third quarter. I think you have a guy like Dylan Windler in this game. I can't say for certain that they win it, but you'd imagine it's for sure going to be closer of a game.
100%.
What he brings, 3-point shooting, rebounding for someone his size and position is incredible. And yeah, I think it for sure would have been a closer game. And it was a close game, like I said, heading into the fourth quarter. But then enter Malawach.
Yeah, what a game.
He just took over. He had 23 points in this one. And I think a lot of them were in the fourth quarter, at least from what I was watching. Him and Kendrick Davis were kind of just sharing buckets in that fourth quarter. Just ended up winning, like you said, 89-75. Closing out the series. No need to head back to Sydney for a game 3. Yeah. Kendrick Davis, 27 points, and Torrey Craig with 12. So, yeah. Davis, Malawach, Torrey Craig, kind of those were the 3 standouts for Perth. Low-scoring games, so not really any big performances.
Yeah, it's low scoring when, you know, the 3-headed monster without Dylan Windler, Doolittle, JLA, and David Duke combined for atrocious numbers from the field, though.
Yeah.
And this is concerning. Why are your 3 best players on the court disappearing when the time is when you need them to be there?
Yeah, specifically Doolittle 3 for 15, JLA 4 for 11, David Duke 2 for 12. Like,
just
all
quietly,
3 of them,
man.
atrocious numbers.
Like, it's a win or go home in front of your home fans. You're paid big bucks. You're the head of this team. Just quietly, greatness is built off being clutch.
Yeah.
This is a really bad performance from the 3 of them.
When you got to rely on Ben Henschel to be your guy.
You shouldn't ever have to rely on Ben Henschel to be your guy.
He had 20 points. He was the one keeping them in this. I think he was like 7 for 15. So the most efficient of anyone on that team all night long. When that's the case, yeah, you're not going to win anything. You need someone like Doolittle, who we've sung his praises all season long.
He's top 5 player in the league.
Yeah, he's got to take over a game the way Bryce and Kendrick and Sobey can do, and be like, give me the ball, let me get a bucket, like he did against the Breakers that one game.
Like he did in game 1.
Yeah,
he was excellent in game 1.
When he's just like calls for that ball, he needs to just take over and shoot all the shots, get buckets.
3 of 15.
Maybe something just wasn't dropping.
3 of 15, man, just not ideal. JLA's had some very good games this year, but he's also had some stinkers.
Yeah.
This was one of them. And look, I'm not going to shit on David Duke because he's only just come back from injury not long ago, and realistically, he still was probably adjusting to the way the NBL was, but I wouldn't expect this from Doolittle.
No.
Sydney must have come in with a game plan that really limited what Doolittle was doing well in game 1.
Yeah.
Because to go from, 33 points in game 1 to, I don't even know how many he had, 7, 8?
Yeah.
Less than 10? It's not really what you want, and considering he was a top 5 player in the NBL, he was in the All-NBL first team, you wouldn't expect this.
Yeah.
Just quietly.
Torrey Craig is on the Sydney Kings, so.
Torrey Craig's a very good player. Very good player.
Defender.
Yeah. But that's sort of how it's unfolded. We've already talked about what's going to happen on Tuesday night.
Yep.
Southeast Melbourne and Adelaide.
Lock it in, guys. Make sure you're watching.
Playing for a chance to the NBL finals against Sydney.
And we'll have the home court advantage already.
First team, and it's a 5-game series as well, so it'll be very entertaining. Regardless if Southeast Melbourne or Adelaide go through, I think the final series is going to be very competitive. I think it could go either way. I think all 3 teams that have a chance of being, well, obviously Sydney's already through. Between the 3 of them, Southeast Melbourne, Adelaide, and Sydney, I think all 3 of them will put on a very good final series, and all 3 of them have a chance at winning.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah. They all have their little things about them as teams that will differentiate themselves from the others. It just depends who's doing that better on the night.
I agree. And Mr. NBL Commissioner guy, please can we make the finals a 7-game series?
Ooh.
And make the semifinals 5-game series, please.
You reckon?
That's my request for next season going forwards.
Yeah, I would like
More
to see
basketball.
that. I think the 5-game series, I don't know how long that's been around for, but it wasn't always a thing. And I
Yeah.
recall the semifinals might have only been 1 game back in the day.
I believe so.
So they've slowly got there.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know.
I know there's not enough games to like do that, I guess, but
Yeah.
and there's other leagues around the world where the guys are going off to play, like you mentioned, the Chinese league and stuff. But I don't know.
It would
Just
be cool.
more entertaining. I think you get more viewers as well.
Yeah, you probably would. Probably cause
Just
more
a thought.
upsets here and there potentially.
Yeah.
But I don't think do they need to make the semifinals a 5-game series?
Or
feel
just
like
go
three-
3
I
and
feel
then
like-
7.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't feel like they need to touch it yet.
You don't think?
No. Maybe not yet. I feel like if there was more teams, maybe
Yeah.
think, like-
yeah, you're right.
they can make more, I guess, money technically with commercials and stuff with more games. I mean, that's the whole reason the
Yeah.
NBA does it, right? Because they can
Yeah.
make bank. But
Their commercials in the NBA is ridiculous.
I don't really know if the NBL has the resources to put on that many games in the finals, potentially.
Maybe
With all
not
the
yet.
travel and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Having to go back and forth between.
potentially.
Although you wouldn't have to travel really much more at all because
Well, if they're
7-game series are doing 2 in a row at each
That's
time.
true.
2-2,
1-1-1.
1-1-1.
Yeah. Something
Just
to
a
think
thought.
about.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
Food for thought.
But that's what's been unfolding in the NBL,
Yeah.
and we'll go over some NBA. Arguably
my
actually it is the
God.
biggest week of NBA in recent years, and it was only for one man and one man only, and that is Simone Fontecchio being a part of the duo that has scored the second most points as a duo in NBA history. Simone Fontecchio, welcome to the NBA history books.
Wow, yeah. What a player.
What a
he
player.
is. He's incredible, isn't
What
he?
a player!
No, but in all seriousness, Bam Adebayo.
Yeah,
Dropped
this is
83 points. Beat Kobe Bryant's record. You could argue the most points in NBA history, whether you want to believe that Wilt had 100 or not.
no video evidence.
Personally, I think he did. I'm just going to
Nah,
go to the OG.
it definitely happened.
I can't, like, now for sure, Wilt scored 100 for me. When you could argue that Kobe was the highest scorer, there's a debate. But there is no way on God's green earth that I'm allowing Bam Adebayo to be argued as the top scorer in NBA history. Like, no shade. I like Bam as a player. He seems like a great guy, but
Good guy, good intentions, but man,
like Bam Adebayo being the NBA's all-time top single game scorer, can't allow that. Not on 42 free throw attempts or whatever the hell it was.
yeah. Look, this is gonna go down as one of those. Where were you when Bam Adebayo scored 83 points? And
Oh, bro.
like, because I was at work, and we were all watching it, and most of us couldn't really believe what was unfolding in front of our eyes. And there was a Miami Heat fan in the office, and he's like, "Yeah,
Oh,
Bam's
God.
the greatest player of all time."
Say less.
Yeah, so that's kind of what unfolded. But look, in all fairness, regardless of how you feel about it, whether it's ethical or unethical or whatever, shout out Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
No matter how the hell you do it, to score 83 points in an NBA game is a bloody feat of its own. Like I don't care how many free throws he took. He played the same amount of minutes as Kobe Bryant. He took a very similar amount of field goals to Kobe Bryant. And they were very similar in terms of efficiency as well. Look, man.
Well, Kobe, I'll tell you for free, Kobe didn't have 42 free
I
throws.
think he took like 20 something or 30 something.
ain't 42.
No. But look, just quietly. If I'm Bam, I have 64 points going into the fourth quarter. And I come out, Eric Spoelstra, my head coach, my dog, my ride or die, puts me out there. Obviously, first of all, the coach is backing you. Go out there. Bam had like another 10 points or 8 points in like 3 minutes. If I got 9 minutes left in a game to score 9 points to go and break history. I don't care how I'm doing it. I don't care if I'm throwing up the most egregious shots of all time. I don't care if I'm getting fouled every time down the floor. I'm breaking history.
Nah, you're right. I can see that point.
Why would you not back yourself?
But like, come on, man. I mean, and by no way am I blaming Bam. he seems like a really nice guy, probably one of the nicest guys in the NBA. I'm actually a fan of Bam Adebayo. But it's just so unethical the way this happened.
But why?
What do you mean, why? Did you see how they were playing towards the end of the game? They were intentionally fouling the Wizards to shoot free throws.
Cool.
So that they could get the ball back. His teammate intentionally missed a free throw, his second one, to try and get Bam the rebound. And when he didn't, they fouled the Wizards straight away. And the Wizards were like triple teaming Bam as well. Oh, it was
so.
And also, first of all, the Wizards are the team to blame in this. That is the most atrocious defense I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And then just the other day, Neems Queta, is that how you say it?
Neems Queta
on the Celtics. They were playing the Wizards the other day. He went for like a legacy game of 25 points or something. So by his standards, incredible game. The Wizards just cannot guard big men. It was embarrassing the way that they were playing defense.
A few points to argue on this from my perspective. First of all, Bam actually has responded and had a press conference since the game. And he said, why are you blaming me when it took the Wizards until I had 70 points to start double teaming me?
Yeah.
Why are they not double teaming him when he had 30 something in the first quarter?
Yeah.
They had no Tyler Hero, no Norman Powell, no Khalil Ware. There's probably another player that wasn't playing. Andrew Wiggins, no Aaron Wiggins, sorry. Andrew Wiggins, not Aaron Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins. 4 of their best players were off, apart from Bam. Bam had 30 something in the first quarter. And you're telling me you would rather play one-on-one and leave Highsmith open in the quarter instead of sending a double to Bam, who's had 30 something in the first quarter. So no, I'm not blaming Bam. Blame the Wizards.
Blame the Wizards.
The Wizards are blame here.
Blame Spo. Spo should have pulled him.
No, if I'm Spo, I'm backing him. Go for it. And look, in terms of you saying it's unethical, what about D Book's 70-point game against the Celtics where they lost and they were fouled?
That was unethical.
All right. What about I've heard reports. What about the David Robinson 71-point game against, or whatever it was, against the Clippers back in the 80s?
Unethical.
That was to break the scoring title. They did it on purpose. Unethical?
Yeah.
All right.
What wasn't? Damian Lillard 71 points.
Get a grip. I'm not done yet.
Genuinely,
I'm not even done yet. I'm not even done yet. Wilt Chamberlain had 100 points. There is reports from an old radio broadcast back then that they were doing the exact same thing, fouling intentionally to get Wilt 100 points. Is it unethical?
Yeah, I guess. You know what wasn't? Kobe Bryant's 81.
Yeah, great. Shout out Kobe.
And Dame's was the most efficient 70-point game in history as well, might I add.
Good on him.
It just doesn't feel right seeing someone with 83 points and then you look at the box score and he has 7 3-pointers. Like, it just doesn't feel right.
Look,
Same with Wilt, I guess, but like...
You can't blame him for shooting 42 free throws as well. The Wizards were fouling him.
Yeah,
it's not like the refs were just handing him free throws. They were genuinely fouling him.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Bam's fault the Wizards suck.
I think if he just finished off with like a nice 77 behind Kobe Bryant, I wouldn't be so upset. But him being above Kobe just don't feel right, man.
I don't care, to be honest. I was really salty about it at first because I was like, we can name 15 other players in the NBA right now I'd rather see second in the all-time NBA scoring list. And then I was getting pissed off because, the late, great Kobe Bryant, like, it feels like you're disrespecting him. He passed away, like, all that. But then, I came back around and was like, if I was in Bam's shoes, I would have gone for it too. So, like...
Who knows, Finn?
Respect to Bam Adebayo. I don't care whether you love him or hate him. To score 83 points in an NBA game is an amazing feat, and no matter who did it, should be celebrated.
You could still be in Bam's shoes one day, Finn. Back yourself, youngster.
I hate you. What else happened in this week? Because there's some other great performances.
Yeah, Luka had a 50-piece, so maybe he was inspired by Bam a bit.
It was one assist off a triple-double?
Yeah,
I think he had 11 rebounds.
Yeah.
And I actually saw he subbed out, and I think Vanderbilt asked him, why are you subbing yourself out? He just said, I don't care.
Yeah.
Speaking
of a person who could go for 80 points.
Yeah, Luka probably could. I mean, he had 73.
Yeah.
That was the most since yada yada, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the most since someone around.
One of those older guys. Yeah. But yeah, shout out Luka.
Quick Clips and Blazers update, Finn.
Oh, Clippers. Bro, we actually made a new history stat thingamabobby. The first time a team has ever been 15 wins below 500 to start a year and then has become 500 again.
Yeah,
because I think we went 33 and 32, but then we played the Sacramento Kings on a back-to-back yesterday and we lost. That was embarrassing to the Kings.
Ouch.
And but the Kings played very well. And Kawhi Leonard has just honestly been amazing. You could argue, we were having this conversation off pod, you could argue he is potentially a top 5 player in the NBA at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's.
But he looks like he just sprained his ankle against the Kings, so hopefully he's not out for too long. But Kawhi's been really good. The trade, it doesn't look like it's a win or a loss, but it's looking like probably in the positive direction. Like Benedict Matherin's been great. Darius Garland's looking like he's becoming a bit more comfortable. And
I like it. I said I liked it from the moment you guys made that.
And
trade.
also, shout out Jordan Miller. He's been really, really good. And I think he's a bright spot for our little future we have going on here.
Fair enough. Not much to speak about on the Blazers side of things. Lots of injuries. Denny's been out for a while. Shaedon Sharp's been out for like 2 months, which hurts my soul. He's kind of my favorite player on this team. Apart from Damian Lillard, of course. Scoot's back.
That's good.
He's kind of stinking, if I'm being honest. He's had like 2 games where he's looked phenomenal and been efficient, but outside of that, it's just misses and turnovers. Drew Holiday's look good. But yeah, we're in that 10 seed. I think we should jump the Warriors, especially with them missing Steph for a bit, but I think the Clips have got us now, which pains me.
You wouldn't have predicted that to start the season.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting. Both of our teams in the play-in, I think that's kind of set. The playoffs are looking set. I don't think there's much more changes to be had, especially on the West. The top 10 teams, I think, is pretty set. The East might be a little bit more up for grabs. But no, things are shaping up nicely in the NBA playoffs. Can't wait for them to get underway. Yeah,
Best time to be a basketball fan, just quietly.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's all we got for you guys this week, though. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 24. We'll be back next week for episode 25. And any thoughts, comments on the video, post them down below in the comments.
See you guys next week.